And now, a public service announcement. How to properly email your teacher. Let's begin with a story. Once upon a time, there were some students in a class. These students were generally good and silly and smart. One day, their teacher assigned them some reading. Being good and silly and smart students, they studiously tried to read. However, after a few minutes, the students came to a passage that looked like this. Tried and tried as they might, they could not make sense of this passage. They reread it. They asked their parents for help. They even called their friends and asked them about it. But try as they might, the passage inevitably made them feel like this. Very, very confused. There was only one recourse left. Email the teacher and ask directly. Now, before we move on, there are some important things in the story that I want to make sure you recognize. First of all, in the story, the students were confused about their reading. The steps they took to help themselves out went like this. They reread the passage. Then, if they were still confused, they asked their parents for help. And if that didn't work, they called friends in class. Only after all three of these steps failed did they email the teacher. And it would be good for you guys to remember these steps before you email us. Now back to the story. So, these intrepid students decided to email the teacher about their work, but ended up making a bunch of mistakes. Let's look at how not to email a teacher. As you can see, this student's email is not exactly up to snuff. Can you tell what's wrong with it? A student email should have looked more like this. First of all, it should always have a subject heading. Tell the reader what you are writing about. It's just polite. Second of all, you should always have a salutation. You don't have to write Dear Teacher or Dear Mr. Fleischer. You can just write Mr. Fleischer and that's plenty fine. It just shows respect to the person you're writing to. Thirdly, you should always write in complete sentences. Always. You are writing to a teacher, not a friend, not someone you don't know. I don't know why you'd be writing someone you don't know, but you should always write in complete sentences to your teacher or anyone you have a professional relationship with. And your teachers are one of those people. And fourthly, you should always, always, always be as specific as you can about what you're confused about. In this passage, and with this email, the writer is confused about the word usage in the passage. So that gives your teacher an idea of what kind of confusion you have, and that's going to help your teacher respond to you in a really good and helpful way. So this whole silly story is meant to help you know the best way to email your teachers when you're confused about your work, or really anything at all. You should always have a subject so the teacher knows what you're talking about, a polite salutation. It should be written in complete sentences, and it should be specific about what you are confused about, not just, I don't get it, or I'm confused. Following these simple rules will lead to happy teachers and better understanding for you. So now you know. And knowledge is power. Happy emailing, everybody!